Hey, new person. Who? What is that up to? Aw, we lost the Ratha dude. Maybe had some strain problems. Oh, went to bed. Much fun for the rest of the project. The wall. Would you actually like the sound of crunching cereal? Okay, for a new person, to catch up, what I'm doing here is, in the editor, actually, I'll just try to show you. This is my editor, and right now, I'm working on these brushes over here. So you paint your Mega Man levels in here, and these are brushes that are composed of multiple tiles to simplify drawing things like this big box that's made out of 4 tiles, so you don't have to draw each of the 4 individual pieces like this. So far today, well, in a previous broadcast I got these brushes to show up in here that had been previously created by hand. Today I've made it so that you can click on them, you can actually draw with them. So this is new, the fact that they actually work. And now I am working on the ability to create new ones. So I just added this button, create from selection, and the goal there is, let's say I zoom in a little bit, switch stages. Let's say I want to make I did it again, didn't I? I'm going to get stuck with this thing. Okay, I got to figure out what's up with that bug. But let's say that I wanted to make a brush out of this 3x2 box or brick right here. Pretend that I don't have this brush as my cursor. That's messed up, and I don't know why it's happening. Now it's just like totally stuck. But if I take the selection tool and I select... Oh, sorry, that's an event I just created and I made it blow up. We can get rid of that line. Let's do that again. If I go in here and I want to make a... Seriously? There it is. If I want to make a brush out of this, I should be able to just select it and then click this button, and then I'll have a new brush over here in the tray that I can reuse. Because that's probably what most people are going to want to do, rather than like making them by hand ahead of time, like predicting what their brushes are going to be. So the dilemma now is the fact that you can actually have selections on multiple screens. So while that selection's there, I can draw a new one over here, and then I can go down to a different screen over here, and I can draw another selection. So the question is, what is this button actually going to do in this case? It says create from selection. Well, which one? I don't know. Maybe just the most recent one I created. And so I've just made an event that's broadcast out every time a selection is created. And I was going to go with the policy of the most recent one created is the one it will use. And then I realized I forgot to make the rectangle nullable so that you can tell when the selection has been removed, because you want it to stop. You want the button to disable if you don't have any selections anymore. So I'm going to go back and first I'm going to check typey stuff. Drinking some whiskey. Hoo-hoo! Got another viewer. Welcome, God of the Forest that thirsts. You thirst for whiskey? Like Math Joe? So I just created this selection created event args, but what I actually need to do first, what I actually want to do is rename that, because it should be created or deleted. I'll just rename it to selection changed event args. Rename the class as well. Make the rectangle nullable so that if it's null, that means it was deleted. Yeah. Now, where that event gets raised is in the screen down here. I've got to remove this null check because it should broadcast every time it's changed, not just when it's not null. And finally, we go back into our view model that controls that button for creating the brush out of the selection. And first I'm going to rename that. Oops, I accidentally pressed F1 or something. I'm going to do selection changed if e dot selection is not null, okay, so it's going to remember what screen the selection's on in the selection itself. So if you've got one, equals e.selection, selection screen equals e.screen. If it is null, however, if it's null, if there's no selection, so it was disabled, and the particular selection that got removed is the one we were looking at, we're not going to try going back to the previous one or remember anything like that. Maybe later. That's too fancy. If e.screen is selection screen, then we're just going to remove our selection. Okay. Now we can go back to what I was trying to do about 5 or 10 minutes ago, and that is the predicate for the button itself that determines whether it's enabled. And the condition is simply selection not null. So anytime we have a selection remembered, you can create a brush out of that selection. And let's see if that works. I think it should show an... Oh, I got 2 examples of that. Ribbon tab changed. System Windows controls, selection changed event args, and the Mega Man version, because I have the mediator. That's the Windows one. Is that the only place? Yes. Okay. It doesn't actually look like the buttons are in any disabled state, which means that this test is not going to tell me anything at all. Except if it doesn't crash, that tells me something, I guess. Let's try using some breakpoints to see what's going on and if it is doing anything correctly. Now if I make one on a different screen, it immediately made a selection, and so it set it there. Okay. Oops. Oh, it's I'm still holding the mouse down, in its opinion. Come on. I hate this kind of garbage. What is it doing? Stop that. Okay, I trust that it works, because I'm not going to win in that little battle. Yes, the rectangle is a struct. I think so. Yes. So you may have, since you just joined a little while ago, you may have missed me explaining. The rectangle is in my own common library namespace. It's not a .NET provided one, technically, because for some reason the one's built into .NET, and I did this is the same thing with point, which is right up here. I've got my own math file, because point, pointf, rectangle, and rectangleF, they exist in .NET, but only in their DLLs for like WinForms and Windows graphics and like WPF stuff, which is really strange because there's perfectly valid places outside of UI that you would use them, and I'm working with multiple text. Like I've got the engines in WinForms and the editors in WPF, so obviously I can't use any of .NET's built-in math like point and rectangle implementations. So I literally went into the .NET Reflector back when it was free and like reversed their own classes and just copied and pasted them into my own namespace so that I could use them everywhere. And that's what this file is. This is their own code, literally. Okay, so now the create selection brush. Create from brush. So what I actually want to do is new multi-tile brush. I know this is just a view model, but I'm going to be doing some kind of model-specific garbage here. Create a brush that is selection dot. Whoa. If selection equals null somehow, because you shouldn't be able to do this, call this method if it is, return. rs equals dot value, so I don't have to keep typing that. Okay, s dot width, s dot height. Okay, now our brush. So now we need to put stuff in the cells. Let me see, is this method I need? Absolutely is. Okay. Okay. Old-fashioned for loops. Gets spoiled by for each loops. Brush.add tile, and that's going to come from selection screen tile at xy, and pass the x, pass the y for adding the tile. Wait, no. This inner xy is totally wrong because it's based on the selection coordinates. It needs to be based on the screen coordinates. So x plus selection dot, does it have a left? Selection dot x plus selection dot y. Okay, just going to offset by where the left and top of the selection. Okay, so that should do it. Now I have to add that brush to the collection of brushes and stuff. Assuming you're talking about code, Profont is awesome. As you can see, it enables me to cram as much code onto one screen as possible at size 9 point. It is designed specifically for code. and for programmers who have really good vision and like to push it to its limits. Now, I can't remember exactly where I have to add this brush. I'll obviously need to call some kind of collection update event when I do so. My brushes come from the tile sets brushes. So can I add it to the tile set? Select brush, create brush, tile set dot brushes dot add. Woohoo! That is a thing. Good thing I exposed it as a list instead of an enumerable. And then on property changed brushes. Woohoo! So then our little tray of brushes will get updated. Let's give that a whirl. I'm going to expand this thing a little bit. Zoom in. Grab my selection tool. Select this big block right here. And press the create button. And it's going to crash. No, it didn't crash. I can still do stuff. It did nothing. The goggles, they do nothing. Oh, wait, no, it's my eyes. The goggles do nothing. Okay. Create selection brush. Breakpoint. Selection's not null. That did that. That's width. It's a 3 by 2. That is correct. Let's do some x plus s dot x. 7. Y plus s dot y. 7, 5. Selection screen dot tile at 7, 5. It's a tile. And it is ID 0 sprite. That's weird. How about the tile at 0, 0? ID 0. That's weird. Why do they all say ID 0? Cell tile equals tile. What? It has block properties. Is that just because it's default? Sheet path. Okay, the sprite. It's fine. And its frames. It's got one frame and its sheet location is 0, 0. That's messed up. What's wrong with my selection? I'm really confused. What? Selection screen is the screen on... It's the start screen of the demo stage. Yeah. I gotta... What? I really don't care what's going on. Demo project, stages, demo, tiles. 0, 1, 2, there's others. Yeah. 0 is at 0, 0. That's, yes. Is it just picking up this one every time? That's certainly a possibility. Tile at. Now y is 1, x is 0. Tile at 7, 6. Screen layers 0. Okay, this layer has a lot of tiles on it, obviously. Yeah. Maybe that was really the first block in the actual tile set. Maybe the fact that there was all zeros is just the coincidence that was correct. We'll see in 1 second. Now the tile has an ID of 3. Okay, yeah, that's... okay, never mind. That was a waste of my time. That's fine. Continue with all 6. Blah, 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 blah. And you're done. And the brush has some cells, and each one, x, y, 0, 0, 1, it's a different tile, and that's all good, and I added it to the collection. Can't actually step into that on property change brushes. It should be in here. Where is it? Yo. Trying to paint with the one I just made. There's got to be something wrong with this added thing. No, I don't see anything wrong with that. It's just a list. They load, they get added. The actual, did I spell that correct? Brushes, set tile set, on property change brushes. Okay, I got a sort of idea. I'm going to go into here. I'm going to select the thing again. I'm going to go here and I'm going to breakpoint at the getter of that. There, tile set is certainly not null. Tile set.brushes, you have one. It is right there. Ah, sorry. I am currently working off of the editor branch. Yeah, so I think I pushed it recently. Let's see. I pushed it on the 16th when I added the undo. Well, origin editor says February 16th. And this one, that's only like 4 commits ago. That's it. Okay. I'll try to keep an eye on chat more often. Good to see him building a fan base. So the brushes, it's in here. Why will you not display? That I don't understand. You're supposed to be in this little window. What the hell? Maybe if I switch to the other... See, there's that brushes. And now it appears. What gives? Did I need to, like, redraw the thing? I have no idea. But anyway, that means that I can now grab this and paint with it. I can slap another brick down there. And maybe I'll make some bricks over here. And for those of you watching and want to see the actual edit engine in action, it does exist, it does work. Let's see, I hope the audio volume here is okay. So if I save that, what I just did, I go to Home, Proto-Man, I can test the current stage. And there it goes. I turned on my own volume personally. There it is, and the block that I just added is right there. And I have to slide through. These are water. There's a little chunk of underwater tiles here. Slide through. Shoot some of these. And the non-canonical vertical scrolling screen. Those don't exist in most games. Okay. Miraculous jump that I can't ever make. I'm gonna cheat. I think I just cheated. Oh, I made it anyway. Oh man. There's the block I added. I also got this cheat. Upside down gravity. Not gravity man stage. That rocks. And I also have the test option to go from the whole project. This from location is not implemented yet, and the idea is when you select it, it will then change your tool to like a kind of Mega Man cursor thing, and you'll click this, then you go over here and you'll click a spot on the stage, and it will load the game and place you exactly on that spot, so you don't have to like run through the whole stage to test something. But I can test the whole project. And there's Crystal Man. It will have enemies. These enemies that are over here. So that's about what it'll look like. It's also bugged out. I gotta fix that. That's a cutscene thing. It's like down to here. Dang. Sorry, ears. Okay, I'm gonna run it again and let you guys sort of make your own judgment call on the sound. Is that getting any better? Woohoo. Okay, 10% is the magic number. Um, you know, turn upside down dropper. Let's see. I'm gonna take off that brick that I just added because it don't belong there. What blocks go there? That? Well, no, not there. That, maybe? Or something? I don't know. No? Yeah, that. And above it are these things? Yeah, that looks right. Okay. And now, if you want just some more stuff, I can put other things going on. Let's try the floor blade. Floor blade's kind of difficult to place because he actually needs... He's pretty picky about the fact that he needs to be on the floor. Okay, nope, you were not on the floor there. Nope. Close enough, maybe? The snap is weird and broken, so we'll see what happens. He might glitch out and, like, fly off the screen. Yeah, he decided he'd rather not exist. There. Huh. I don't know. Let's try somebody else. Collapsy dude. Okay, the snap is really not my friend today. But that should work, because he'll just fall correctly. What the heck, where did he go? Are none of these guys working? Well, he's under the ground. Note to peeps, XNA is used in this project. So it requires, yeah. Are you referring to this? Like my start bar or something? Let's just see that entities are actually saving. Like I can just put things on there. Let's put an extra life on here. Save. Task the stage. It's not there. Maybe entity's placement is just not working properly? I don't know. That's sort of surprising. Okay, I'll close it. Yeah, the taskbar. Oh yeah, so I wanted to reload and see if it actually properly saved the 1-up that I placed. It did not, so the problem was just that I can place entities like that, and they're just not friggin' saving, and I have no idea why, so we'll figure that out some other point. But right now I am curious about why the tile brush that I created when I used the selection tool, it creates it when I click that, but I have to go here and go back for it to appear. And I wonder if that's really just a case of the control not like invalidating its display. But that's like supposed to work by itself? I mean, that's the whole point of the data binding, isn't it? And I need to flag the whole thing as dirty when I do that, but we'll get to that. Let's figure out why that's not working. Binding. Let's Google that. Okay. WPF list view not updating. Okay, apparently that's a problem people have. If they're using observable and I'm not, don't set it to a new instance of observable collection. Jet. Okay. I know. I have solved the mystery. Okay, anyway, the reason that it is not updating properly is because I am saying on property change brushes. I'm telling it that the entire collection has been changed. It hasn't. I've just added a new element. And since I said the whole collection changed, what it did is it said, okay, I'll look at it, and it fetched the collection, and rather than looking at its elements, it just did an object equals comparison and said, this is the same collection I had before. I refuse to do anything, so it didn't update the list. I need to somehow raise an event that says, it's the same collection, but there's more stuff in it now. I have to basically mock an observable collection, which is no fun. See, because tileset brushes is not an observable collection. I could make it one. How much have I been working with observable collection already? In the tileset editor, I've been doing that. Yes, I'd have one that is the real one and one that is kind of the fake. So I'd say observed ones, add tile. Tileset add tile, then add it to my observed tiles. Yeah, that's it. I think I'll do something like that because that's just sorry if that was loud. Now, and then stage change, set tile set. There. Now is that, if it's null, is that going to work? I need to see what I did in my other case. For the tiles, without a null, it's probably fine if it's null. Set tile set. No. If it is null, initialize it to an empty one. Okay. Can that be null? Okay. Wait. Don't need to do that now. There. That should work. Check in chat. Back. Yeah, it's kind of loud. I'm really happy to hear that you got everything running, like, within, like, 15 minutes of first cloning the repo, because that is pretty freaking impressive. Most people... I have data local settings. Did I seriously do that? Didn't I put it... Yeah, sorry, this microphone is like $8. Yeah, so MathCho actually invented this technique. We have the same microphone, and it's so cheap. It's like $8, and it's so quiet. So he discovered that I'm not talking bad about you. You're a genius. That if you like wear, it's a desk mic, but we wear it around your neck, so just to keep it right against your mouth, because my first Twitch stream was so quiet that I had to like boost everything and there was a ton of noise. So yeah, it's like almost on my mouth in order for you to hear me at this volume. So I'll try to keep the breathing to a minimum. How about that? What was I doing? Oh yeah. Let's see if the observable collection makes this thing work. Oh yeah, anyway, I was saying to um okay, yeah, maybe I'll eat a I'll eat sorry, maybe I'll order a better microphone. I'm sorry. Maybe I'll eat a better microphone. Maybe I'll order a nicer microphone. That is pretty awesome if that microphone's that sensitive and yet with no noise. Okay. I was saying to Elrond, I'm very impressed that it built for this project has been in the works for several years, and I posted about it on forums, and I've got a YouTube channel. Most of the people who try downloading it, they're like, it doesn't run, it just crashes on startup, and it won't build, or, I try to make distributables of things, and about half the people who try, it just doesn't work at all. And if it does, I have to troubleshoot with them for like an hour or two. Yeah! Nailed it. Okay. That is freaking sweet. Woohoo! Ooh. High sensitivity headphone microphone. Oh, so it's like it clips on to a regular pair of headphones, but you don't even need to do that. You just like mount the clip on top of the monitor and it works that well. That is pretty awesome. Okay, I will seriously take that microphone recommendation into consideration. And then, I don't know, turn this microphone into a permanent giant Flavor Flav necklace or something. I'm trying to keep it off to the side of my mouth so I don't breathe directly into it as much. Hopefully that helps. Anyway, I can commit that change now. Yeah. Ooh, I changed the whole map. Yeah, whatever. Sweet. Okay, I'm impressed that I got someone in my channel who's like, oh, Mega Man. Oh, but by the way, I haven't played Mega Man. That's weird. You were either very young or very old or played other games. Nice. That's cool. Nice inception of a screen of me It's on your screen, and you're watching my screen, and my screen has the microphone on it. Awesome. And now, your screen is showing my screen that shows your screen, and so on. Okay, that was dumb. Oh. You know what? For now, just so it doesn't look incomplete, I'm just going to delete this stupid button, because who actually wants that feature really bad? I'll leave that alone for now, and that way I can just move this thing over into the completed column, but I will put in okay. With that finished, what shall I do next? Um, the next Trello card? Oh, I know what I should do. Fix the fact that entities don't save at all, and therefore you can't actually change them. So what was going on there? I think I will close all documents. Then oh man, I'm actually not done with this task. Kind of need the ability to save the new tile brushes that were created and have the like dirty flags set when you create a brush. So yeah, about that. I tend to do that. Prematurely close tasks. Okay, screen document. That's going to be in BLL. Move entity, dirty, entities changed, add entity, entities changed. How come saving is not saving properly? I'm just going to step through all this stuff and debug it, make sure it's saving the entities properly. 2 points, save screen, layers, skip. Save every layer. Save all their tiles. What about their entities? Is that even the correct format? See, when I can't even remember the format of my own maps, that's a problem. Inside the screen are the identities, the entities, and their IDs are GUIDs. Oh, maybe commands includes entity commands. Yes, entity is a type of command, so that works there. There we go. There's one entity there now. If I add another one, now I save, it should work. So, the screen that it's saving is the first one. And the placement says That's a light switch. Okay. What commands do we got? 2. For the light switch, and yes, it's the shooter dude. Yep. Okay, so the new entity we just added never made it into this screen commands list. This is sort of confusing. Actually, one of the reasons that the save and load stuff is in a separate I/O project is so that the data source is abstracted away enough that you could write another one for JSON. So right now there's this I/O and there's an XML folder, so there's interfaces for all of the reading and writing of stuff. Well, I haven't finished refactoring this enough. It was really tightly coupled into all the other stuff, and I've done a lot of refactoring to pull it out, but it's not done. You can see some of the interfaces here, and there's XML readers and writers for each of the types going on so far. I also know that for the most part all of this stuff is almost useless because in most cases, I mean, I have some more complex stuff that means this is not necessarily true, but you could use the serializable attribute and all of the .NET serialization stuff to do all of this for me, and I wouldn't need any of all of this ridiculous stuff. Now, this is much better than what it used to be because this is using the link to XML thing. And that is nicer than their old stuff that I don't even remember, but it was awful. But still, this code is probably 80 to 90% unnecessary. But, I mean, at least it's getting broken out so it could be completely replaced at some point. Let's see. So, the problem was that the screen commands was not getting informed about the entity that we placed. What's happening when I add an entity? Screen layers entities.add. Okay. So this screen layer info has a save, and it says write all of my entities. But that's totally different from the commands. This is part of the this is pretty much the place where the old and the refactored serialization code are running into each other. And I can't remember even which is old and which is new at this point. I feel like this screen layer thing is the newer one, but I'm not positive. let's see. The writer saves the commands, but where's the screen layer info save called? That is here. So it's not using that one on the first layer. There's a base layer and then the layers you can stack on top of it for things like parallax and other moving pieces. And the base layer is where all the entities are, but that's the one not being written to using the layers save method. It's instead doing this, which is done. Oh yeah, and I think Yoku block patterns haven't been touched in a while. They've kind of rusted, and so they have some bugs now and are broken. I should get back to them, because there were Yoku patterns in that worked, and teleports. Hey. Command and screen commands. Yet layer save. Does it do stuff with commands? I am so confused right now. Alright, what does the reader do? Let's see if we can just reverse whatever it was doing. Look at that giant switch statement. Don't you love it? So it loaded commands that way, but then what about the layers? Or where do the entities for the base layer come from? That's the good question. Screen, layers add, load screen layer for the first one. That's correct. There. Okay. So it was actually doubly loading the entities for the base layer. Once when it said load the base layer itself, and then right in this line goes through all the entities. And then again when at the end of that, what was that? What file was that? Where was it? Up here, yeah, okay, in load screen, then it says commands equals load commands. And since entity is part of that, the entities get loaded both into the commands list and also into the this entities list. What's even happening with this? Oh yeah, into the screen layer info. But it's only the screen layer info that's getting updated and not the commands version. So that means that that's the one I need to be saving. I think. So I decided to start streaming this development because I figured it would kind of put the pressure on me to work on it more and to hurry up and work through problems like this. But I'd get stuck a lot on these sorts of things. Dang. For a lot of people. And I guess I can't complain about the number of viewers. That's exactly what I wanted. Now everyone gets to see me pull my hair out over how to fix this. And everybody gets to see how horrible my code is, although it has been on GitHub for 5 years already. And it was much worse before. Oh man. So let's change how the screen's getting saved, I suppose. Okay, so it's saying don't save the base layer as a layer, even though it really should. ID name, yet the layers, the ID is an attribute called name. So that's kind of messed up. This ID and this overlay name, they're stored in the same property called name, rather than one called ID. I'm thinking to extract a little bit of this that can be reused. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. And I don't want to. I can't save the entities twice. I had this problem before. I think I tried fixing this once before, and I basically took this chunk and I copied it, and I went over into the writer, and I went right here, and I went like this, boom, and well, whatever that's actually called, who knows? But I tried that before. I remember doing this, and I quickly found that every time I saved my project, I doubled the number of entities in the file. There were like two copies of everything sitting on top of each other, and the lines in the XML would quickly blow up. And so I undid that change. This was probably maybe not even 2 months ago. And now I really don't know the correct solution. The base layer is a layer, but it's not an overlay. I think I got another stage that's a little better displaying this. Parallax? Well, that doesn't have any entities in it. What? Why is that empty? What the heck? Oh, it's empty because I'm in the middle of saving it, I think. No, I'm not. Never mind. Sorry. Did I bust it up? Yeah, I broke it because I stopped debugging in the middle of having the file open. There it is. Okay, so we've got overlays inside the screen. So there's entities here, or there could be entities in here. Black. Inside the layer, are they not considered commands? Maybe there's not other commands that could be done. You can't execute other commands inside the layer. It's just the screen. I totally coded myself into a hole right here. I am going to do something that I suggest nobody ever replicate. So please look away if this code offends you. That's not the bad part. Here is the bad part. Okay, MapJoe's gonna have to apologize to Ralph Johnson for me. I am so sorry that I just did that. But I'll see if it even works. And then I will make a Trello task to fix it, I promise. Ooh, I have a new person in here? Okay. I know. A little bit of churn, but nice to see new faces. Okay. Let's see. Testing whether entities properly save. So, I'm going to zoom in and go over here and attempt to place an extra life on the floor. It snaps funny, but I should be able to save and then go in here and then open. Is that demo stage? Yeah, oh, it's already right there. Extra life. Bam! What do you know? And there's only one of them, and everybody else didn't get duplicated. So, if I go in here and test the stage... Yes, okay, so my volume is super low. No ears will be melted this day. There's an extra life on the floor. Yeah, you gotta hack it. Okay, that is hackishly fixed in the most egregious sense of the word hack. This isn't really a priority list anyway, because I'm certainly not doing this top one soon. Although that is kind of something that's needed in order to do anything to make a new project. Okay. Oh yeah, back to the tile brushes, because I forgot to save them and throw up a "do you wish to save your changes" dialog, and basically flag the project as dirty when you create them. So, close all documents again. Well, stop running. brush control view model. Okay. So now I just need to say that when you create a new brush from the selection, that it needs to mark the project as dirty. Tile set, brushes, add. Is that my job directly, or should the tile set do that? Yeah, I'll put that in here because that'll lock it from ever being unable to do that properly. Rubble. There you go. Brushes is new list of brushes. Great. Now we can add here, and then also we can say stop. Stay. Do I have any access to my stage or anything? That's all messed up. Okay, what I plan to do all these are places that the project is declared dirty. Right here is done. Project document. All these other places, it does it itself. Change any of its major properties, or it's whenever the stage is marked dirty. Okay, so stage can be marked dirty by the screen document or by stage document itself. This thing doesn't have access to its stage, which is... Actually, no, that makes perfect sense, actually. Okay, I'm just going to leave that whole thing that I just did. Does this not build? Why? No rules not contain definition of add. So I guess what I can actually do for now is does this know what stage we're on? Stage changed. No, it doesn't. Tileset doesn't have stage. I'll put it in here because the tile set is not necessarily bound directly to the stage. It can be used anywhere, but I do need to mark the whole project dirty if you create a new brush. Whoa, missing some stuff. Okay, so I should just be able to dirty the project whenever you change the brush. Isn't there a way to... I'll see what happens when you change the tileset itself in the tileset editor control. My microphone has descended way too low, so you probably can't hear me. Now it's better. Tileset, add tile. Huh. Looks like it might very well be the case that modifying tile sets doesn't actually mark anything as dirty, so let's find out. I just go, well, if I go into here and I add a tile, and I do a bunch of stuff, and snap, whatever, and then I go back to the stage, and I don't actually do anything with it, it's just sitting there. Yeah, it's not marked as dirty, so that's on me, but sometimes I just don't know what I'm doing. Okay, so I have jagged arrays for the cells, which I guess is kind of strange because they have to be rectangular. There's no reason for those to be jagged. I don't remember what my motivation was for that. I had been considering using 2D arrays. I know I probably went back and forth a bit on it. I really don't remember what was in my head at the time. Well, let's see if I have any 2D arrays. Wait, I don't know if that's actually... Yeah. No? Okay. Wait, that was a document search. Yeah. The rectangle tool. It uses 2D arrays. Because those are actually rectangular, and that kind of makes sense there. Yeah, and this is definitely not the case to be picking nits about performance because, first of all, I mean, this is just the editor, and also when I'm profiling the engine, I mean, I have profiled the engine and done a lot of optimizations there, and it has nothing to do with anything like that. It's stuff like my collision detection system is horribly inefficient. There's a lot of complex but low-hanging fruit that's not about things like cache optimizations. So, for the most part, I code so that it's easy for me to code and read. Well, looking at this code kind of testifies against that. Anyway, we need to be able to save the brushes that have been made. where's the tile set saved? Add a save method here. Stage document should be going straight to the tileset class. This one should be calling that and then saving brushes. Okay. Even though we haven't done the whole dirty flag thing that causes the pop-up when you try to quit without saving, the saving of these should work. Alright. Let's see if that works. So, I select this thingy, create the thing, press the shortcut to save, hope that it's saved. Hey, let's check out if it's saved by looking at the file. Demo stage tile brushes. Woohoo! That's the tile brush. That's its definition right there. So that means I close this, go back in, reload. There it is. It worked. Aha. And now I'll put that into the editor done column, finally. But I will add the task for